biggest challenges you had in trying to work a saxophone into some a kind of music that isn't generally?
Yeah. I mean, just the dynamics alone. I mean, they're such extremes. Especially, I mean, we're talking about some like volume levels that most saxophone players don't normally have to deal with. So I had to find a way to kind of get at least somewhere within the mix of the guitars and the basses as well as the drums for that matter. So amplification was obviously a necessity. You can't quite amplify a saxophone the same way you can amplify a guitar or a bass.
You had the mic, I think, just dumped down the bell of the saxophone.
Yeah, I've done that. I've been experimenting for years. Many different ways of dealing with that. I used to use a small little like SM98 mic from Shure, and I would tape it on the inside of the bell, and with a real thin wire off it, and that worked okay for a while. But just like the tonal quality just wasn't, or the tone quality wasn't there. We're talking about utilizing all these effects. Some of these are guitar pedals predominantly. Guitar players have pickups that don't pick up pretty much anything else except for guitar strings, of course. As a sax player, you're usually have to rely on something like this, a microphone, which doesn't, regardless of how much you can get on the mic itself, it still picks up the sounds around. So that's a constant struggle, is that you're picking up everything else around you. And particularly when it's for the saxophone, the microphone may be pointed downward towards the bell of the horn. And what normally resonates down there is, you know, bottom end, some bass tones, kick drum, etc. That stuff can wreak havoc with delays and things like that, especially if you're in more of like a cavernous type of a stage area where the ceiling might be a little lower. Like once again, like I said, playing in different in environments, you have to be quick on the fly to be able to like dial stuff in as fast as possible, figure these things out within a matter of minutes. You know.
So how do you deal with that problem you're just describing?
Exactly the way I just said it. I have 3 to 4 minutes to like figure out what's up, what's going to work and whatnot. If there is time allotted for this, I'm just saying, you know, realistically this is what happens. But in the best case scenario, usually you can work with a sound person who can sort of like EQ out a lot of the lower frequencies that the mic is picking up through the monitors themselves. That's the only issue you have. I mean, the stuff going out front of house is totally fine. It's a completely different mix, and they can, you know, actually tweak that out to sound nice and everything. But on stage, you may have to do something like that, where you just cut all of the low end out of the monitors. Then you won't have to deal with that as much. The other problem is that at least for myself, I really like to push the effects as much as possible, because especially with delays, like I use some heavy delays, because the slapback on the delays I actually play off of occasionally. Once again, can wreak havoc in the higher end of the sounds and whatnot. May just cause things to just begin to whistle out of anywhere, you know, out of nowhere. Once again, catching things going on around you, guitar, bass, drums, vocals, whatever. So yeah, like I said, sometimes it's like I'm tap dancing, you know, with different pedals. I'm, you know, knobbing things, and once again, I've got this big brass instrument hanging from my neck, so I'm trying to do it without looking like, without just
hurting yourself.
Yeah, that too. Yeah, definitely trying not to hurt myself, but